Hello everybody, how you doing? Hope everybody's doing fine, I really do. And we're going to get into this video here in just one little second. Hope you like the new intro. And this is what we're going to use from now on. So much love, fasten your seatbelt, and let's get her going. Okay everybody, yesterday, well actually been longer than yesterday. Actually on Saturday I made this video, and this video is showing you, I want everybody to understand this because I got a lot of comments on Wi-Fi, and I'm still using, this idiot still using Wi-Fi, and I just want to get into this. There was no Wi-Fi hooked up, there was no Wi-Fi turned on. There was no Wi-Fi hooked up. There was no Ethernet cord hooked up to this computer. It was turned off. I even go through it. Nobody watches my videos, so they don't really understand. They think they do, so they just comment on it. The title of this video says, your PC is bad for your health. What I meant by that is you see 378 right here. That's power's a little out of focus at the particular moment. But that's the way it is. There we go. That's 373.9. It says very high, as you see right here. Okay. Now, this is the inside of my computer. Okay. This is one of my computers. That meter is setting on the 8 gig video card, so it can be very close to the processor, as close as I can get it without it hitting the fan blades. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm going back through this again, oh my God Almighty knows. The reason why, I'm sorry about that, my little females, they want to play. It gets dark and they want to play. The reason why I'm showing y'all this is for, let's slide this over and scroll down so everybody can see for themselves. Everybody's asking me about, is your computer to the modem keeping, it goes on and on and on. I mean, it's just a few comments that are saying this. Wi-Fi, there's another guy in here that says the same thing about the Wi-Fi. And, you know, it's the inside, and Dutch is over here talking too. Okay. Telling you that I've done everything I can to make y'all understand what this is. I told them, they didn't come back, they didn't pay attention, so of course they aren't listening to what I'm telling you. There is no Wi-Fi hooked up to this computer. This is just the computer being turned on. Okay. This reading is coming off of the processor. The processor receives and transmits. That's why they build Faraday cages for computers, and they build these very extravagant systems to keep other people from being able to hack their computers from a distance or from the same room with the right equipment. It's just to keep other people out of their material, or try to. Okay. Now, it also, it transmits, it receives a signal. It receives a signal and it transmits a signal. Now, the processor that's in this particular machine is a 3.4 gig. This meter reads 2.4 gig is as high as it goes. Could not show you the actual frequency, because my meter won't read that high. Anything above 2.4 is getting it's real hard and very expensive to buy the meter, especially 24 gig and a 94 gig, 64 gig, all that stuff, all them gigs they're going to use for the new 5G. Okay, the reason why I'm showed y'all this is because the video that I did before that did not get no views either was explaining to y'all about 5G and all of its stuff and antennas for the 5G. In fact, let's check that out. Okay, just to show you. Now, why the hell did that son of a bitch move? This right here, we were talking about G5. Okay, and we were talking about their antennas. They're like the size of a processor in a computer. This is where this technology came from. They are building antennas like processors. The antenna elements on 94 gigs is so short that they can put a whole array on a processor. Do you understand what I just said? An array is like the HARP array. You know, the antenna system? You know how big the antenna system is? It's like 4 or 5 acres or 10 acres of land for that 180 antennas. Well, they're putting 180 antennas on a chip. But every square block that you see on that thing right there is a processor size antenna array. A complete array. Meaning it could have 180 or more antennas. Then those antennas that are on there, and all of them all the way around, can be pointed and directed like you see these little arrows doing here. One's blue, one's orange, one's green, one's black. That means that it goes to each individual antenna that can be curved, transmitted, and moved and made into a beam to transmit in one direction. All of them can be pointed at this one phone. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? I'm not being an asshole, guys. I'm not. I'm just trying to get this across to everyone so you know what I'm trying to say without all of these questions that I've already answered. Okay? This is an antenna array. Just one of those square blocks. One of these square blocks. Do you understand? Now, in the video, well, hold on a second. In the antenna, this shows, this is a beam, okay? Or 8 elements of antenna array. 8 elements gives you this big area here. This is reflected power. In other words, this is none of the power going out towards the sides or anything like that. It's pointing in one direction. This one over here is 32 elements. You see how skinny that one is? The same size square block. And all the other ones here are real small and low in power. But this one got a lot more. Do you see that? Remember when we were talking about building antennas, or I was telling y'all about building antennas and the dB gain? Well, that's what you're seeing. That's showing from 0 to 1. Do you see that? So at the bottom you got 0 dB. top, you got 1 dB, or pretty much close to it, on this little small little chart they're showing. It's not showing you how good it's. In other words, it's 1 time stronger than everything else. But they're not showing the chart in the right power range for me to explain it to you any better than what I'm explaining to you. But a 32 element beam, a real one, should have somewhere around 20 dB gain. So in other words, if you've taken 100 watts and times it by 20, you got 2,000 watts. I explained this in the other video, but I'm doing this again because I'm fixing to delete those videos because they're very embarrassing to have that up. And what I mean by this is this. This is what I'm going to say one time. I had a friend. I've been in the radio in a long time. We made a 6 element beam. Or he built it, he bought it and put it up. It was 32 foot long, this antenna. It was a lot bigger than the 5G antenna, which is one antenna on there is like a pin on a processor. You know, the little pins that stick on the bottom of a processor. That's about how big the antenna is. Okay. But this beam had elements on it. The boom, which is the horizontal part of the antenna that sits on a tower, and you see them big antennas on people's towers that you drive around and you see up in the air, and they big antennas on top. Well, this one was 32 foot long. It had, I think it was 18 dB gain or 20 dB gain. I can't remember exactly. I know it had a bunch. But this antenna was transmitting. It was transmitting with a 20 watt radio. There was an Antron 99 at the same height, the same yard, and it was transmitting with another radio identical to it that was transmitting at 20 watts. I lived 49 miles away. In fact, it was a whole different county. Okay? And I could not hear his 20-foot antenna barely. I barely could hear him. The static was almost louder than his regular 360-degree antenna at 20 watts. But when he would turn his beam directly at me, all I heard was him. Even other people that was trying to cover him up, him using 20 watts, them using 360-degree antennas with amplifiers. In other words, 15, anywhere from 5 to 1,500 watts. I heard him over those people. Do you understand what I'm telling you now? That's how much gain that was. If he would have been using that much power as they were, it would have been strong, very strong. It'd been like him sitting out in my driveway talking on the radio. Do you understand now? If anybody ever remembers anything about CB or done anything with CB, you understand this. If you don't, then you're just not on the same wavelength. I'm sorry. And I'm trying to explain this the best way I can. And what I'm telling you is how that works. Okay? The dB gain is strong. Very strong. If you come over here to this website, this is my website. If you come over to it and you watch the videos that are over here, okay, I found there's many of these videos that explains to you the size of the processor, all of this stuff, what they can do with the antennas. As you see, the one on the very top on the left is a 2-element directional antenna. Okay, it shows you a big wave going in one direction. The next one is a 4 element. It still shows 3 bumps going in one direction. The 8, it shows more power in the center. And the more elements that you add, the stronger it becomes. Do you see the waveform? That's the strength of the antenna. The more you put to it, the stronger it gets. Okay? That's a 32 element beam. They're very strong. They got a lot of power. With 1 watt is like 200 watts. 20 watts is like, what, 400 watts. Do you understand what I'm telling you? In other words, it's very strong. Very, very strong. And I hope you understand that what I've been showing you over here was with my processor in my computer. Trying to show you that our processor and our computers is almost the same thing as they're doing with the G5 Inteno. You see the little red light at the bottom down there beeping? It's telling me a high alert that that's very high. High plus. Extremely. Do you understand? That's the processor in the computer. That's not Wi-Fi. That's not wireless connection nowhere. That's not outside of the computer. When I pull that away 4 or 5 feet, it drops, but you still receive the power. Do you understand? But this is right up against it. The reason why I'm showing it to you right up against it is so you'll understand what I'm trying to show you. But no one did. Which shocks me, but hey, it is what it is. I'm doing another meter to show you how close they are. Okay? And the little ones are kind of the same, but it's a little bit more sensitive. And it was beeping real loud, so I kept that out of the video this time. You're not hearing me. I was talking in there, and it was kind of hard to do this. By the way, me holding the camera and trying to get it to focus and everything else. This was all done with me holding cameras and trying to do all these things at one time. But I wanted you to understand what this is. And that's really basically it. And here's the other one. And as you see, it's on 100 range. And it's going between 45 to 70. And I'm outside of the box pretty much. I'm not inside the box because that box is metal and I don't want to touch the computer with it. So I'm having to hold it in my hand. But if I get closer to it, it would go higher. And there goes the focus again. But as you see, and Dutch was doing a live stream just minutes ago. And everybody was talking about how his voice is. The reason why I'm doing a video instead of putting up a live stream, mine's been doing the same thing. You see the processor, there's the video card right underneath it, and there's the processor fan right there. There's no joke in what I was trying to show y'all or do. It's a fact.
And I'll talk to you soon. We'll get back on the video, the computer in here in a little while. When I first started this channel, they didn't have the bell. And they don't fix it if you didn't hit the bell. If they did not hit the bell, you're not going to get my stuff. You got to go back and hit it. So please, if you've been here a long time, make sure that the bell's been hit. Also, make sure you subscribe, because as you've seen before, this went down and now it's back up above this point. So much love to y'all. Y'all all have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up. Please share it with everybody you know when it becomes a video. Please go to the video again. Comment on it. I know y'all been commenting here. But just say, good video. Whatever you want to. Just say something. Just put a smiley face. Whatever. That helps the video to get rated. Helps it get somewhere. So please share it. Thank y'all for coming. Much love.